Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new video on the channel. I recorded multiple clips of standard Mulgrave Mill sugarcane train operations over 2024, and I'll be putting it all together for you in this video. The content featured in this video isn't necessarily of any specific mill operations, but just general activity around the mill yard and close surrounding areas. Interesting procedures such as the transfer of sugarcane from the now closed Mossman Mill area, alongside harvested sugarcane from Redlynch, being taken down to South Johnstone Mill for crushing, instead of locally at Mulgrave at the end of the year, were recorded. However, these will eventually be published in a separate video going into the specifics of those operations. Before we start the video, if you are unfamiliar with Mulgrave Mill, it is a sugarcane crushing plant located in the far north region of Queensland, Australia, just south of Cairns in Gordonvale, and is owned by MSF Sugar, with the mill's collection region spanning from Cairns' northern beaches to Babinda, utilising a 610mm or 2-foot gauge rail network at approximately 200 kilometres in total coverage length. The mill operates 24/7 during the Queensland sugarcane harvesting season from June to December, weather permitting, utilising a fleet of just over 15 locomotives for haulage of sugarcane in unbraked wagons of the 6-ton and 10-ton variety. Without further ado, let's begin the video. Welcome to the Cairns Railfan. We begin just before the season started in mid-June, where pre-season preparations were taking place. Here, locomotives undertaking driver training, bin placement and weed spraying duties return to the yard after a day's work. The highlight of this session was Clyde Engineering DHI 7116 Kammer, built in 1956 as Hambledon Mill 6, and rebuilt during the early 2020s by Mulgrave, arriving with the spray train. The 6 months of inactivity over the rail lines can let a surprising amount of vegetation grow through the various rural sugarcane railway lines, so these pre-season maintenance runs are essential, but are quite rare to see for yourself. The next session was unfortunately a rather lacking one. As you can tell with the overcast skies, it had been raining at the time, meaning Mulgrave Mill was a lot quieter than usual. This is often because during periods of wet weather, the mill either sees a lot less rail traffic or undergoes an entire wet weather shutdown, as rain makes the sugarcane paddocks very muddy, which can cause the harvesters to get bogged, which results in little to no sugarcane being collected for the mill. The next session was yet another lacking one that was unfortunately cut short by not having much time to record that afternoon. The next visit to the mill was in September and was certainly a lot more interesting. The mountain in the background, known as Walsh's Pyramid, was being backburnt to prevent bushfires, but in doing so, it saw the smoke grow out of control due to windy conditions, seeing a lot of it spread over Gordon Vale and into the Goldsboro Valley nearby, making for a very interesting backdrop, but definitely not a fun day for those living around the area. Here comes 16 Cammer hauling in a rake of 30 empty 10-ton cane bins for storage in the shed sidings nearby. I would also like to mention that on this day I met Trey, who was in the yard at the time spotting as well, and he told me he was a big fan of the channel. It was very nice to meet you, Trey, and it was fun to train spot the mill activity with you. Coming in behind was Commonwealth Engineering FC9 Mirawa, built in 1964 and rebuilt in 2015, hauling 32 loaded 6-ton cane bins. The mill yard was, however, at the time occupied, so 9 Mirawa had to shunt the bins into a nearby storage siding instead.
He's probably taking the flag off. It is
Yeah, tail stick.
So Gavin takes the flag off so Miro can grab a bit closer. You hear the horn, Justin?
Yep. Looks like they're gonna put it in the storage sidings, maybe.
Ah, so Redlynch has one of those horns too.
Yeah, I noticed quite a few of them have different horns.
Oh. It's coming too fast.
Right, see ya. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, have a good day. Afterwards, 9 Mirawa will be moving forwards into the sheds to make way for Commonwealth Engineering AA7 Highley, built in 1956 and rebuilt in 2016 to reverse out for coupling to 80 empty 6-ton cane bins for later departure. This movement will then allow EM Baldwin & Sons DH18 11 Maitland to have some shunting room with 6 10-ton cane bins loaded with Mossman sugarcane, which was unloaded by road nearby, which is what I'll be getting into during a later video. 11 Maitland was built in 1972 as Hambledon Mill 1 and was rebuilt at Mulgrave in 2014. That's alright, mate. Just before I came across a mainline freight train, I saw Commonwealth Engineering AK-26 Moringa in a Loomba headed northwards light engine back to the mill. This locomotive was built in 1964 as South Johnstone Mill 2 up until 2001 before being renumbered to 22 and eventually being handed off to Mulgrave in 2012, where it was then rebuilt in 2014. After returning to the mill, having chased the mainline freight train south seen in the previous video, there was plenty of action taking place in the mill yard for me to record. And that's it for the video. I do hope to get out for more general Mulgrave activity this year, as I was mostly occupied with more specific operations to do with Mossman and Redlynch last year, videos of which should hopefully come out later down the line, featuring an explanation of what remains of the Mossman Mill network a year after its closure, and just before the auctioning of its assets in October last year, alongside some lucky clips I got of Mossman locomotives being transferred to South Johnstone Mill ownership in Marillion. A separate exploration of the topic will see a more in-depth look of how leftover cane from Mossman was crushed at Mulgrave, and how leftover Redlynch Road transport and Mossman cane had to be transported south to South Johnstone Mill for crushing there instead of at Mulgrave at the end of the season. Also, before I end the video, thank you very much for 700 subscribers. I would like to take this opportunity to give a quick shout out to Eli's Queensland Trains, where a while back he made a video encouraging me to get 700 subscribers. He makes similar content that I do, mostly around Cairns, but has unique recordings of sugarcane operations during the late evening and nighttime period, which I have practically never covered before, so I recommend you go and check those out. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.